All right, thank you for staying with us. We were talking table tennis before we went on the break, so let's just quickly come now and talk about it before we take you to Washington. I'm told Sonny is waiting somewhere along on the line, but before we go to Sonny, the African Senior Table Tennis Championship in Morocco, we have qualified for the team event. We lost the team event final to Egypt narrowly, 3-2, but we were still able to pick a ticket to the World Championship, which is the target for showing up in Morocco.
Of course, and we felt that if we had shown up much more in numbers, we'll have probably gotten more slots.
Particularly for the women?
Yeah, for the women, where we only had Funke Oshonaike representing Nigeria. She was also supposed to be in action right now against Dina Meshref and Omar Assar alongside...
In the mixed doubles finals.
Alongside our own Segun Torella was also honored in Morocco for his achievements as a table tennis player and what he's done. Yeah, for also being a role model. But I think all eyes has to be on Arnaud Quadri and his potential showdown against Omar Assar
in the singles event.
The singles event, I think that's the bigger picture for everyone. But I'm happy that we've done well. But you often that this championship exposed our frailties again administratively on how much we have neglected sports, not only table tennis. We've neglected sports, ensuring that only one female. In fact, every table tennis player that made it to Morocco made it from their own pockets. We heard, and it's a big shame. But trust Nigerians, even in adversity, we always try to triumph.
Well, Yemi, the lesson is if we had shown up for the women, we would have qualified. Yeah. Because when you look at the list of countries who were able to make it through to the World Championship,
seems we could beat while sleeping.
I mean, one hand tied to the back, and our girls making it through. But it's a lesson for us.
You read all the comments of Oshonaike on Twitter.
Yeah.
You feel for her. She was angry.
Very angry.
She said a lot of things. It's really sad. I hope we learn our lessons.
Well, the good news is that at least we are going to be at the World Championships. That's for the men. For the women, absolutely nothing.
Of course.
For failing to show up. But let's put our house in order. Apart from that, Banji Oladapo and Eniton Waido Shodi were also able to keep their places on the international board of table tennis. So for me, that's a win for Nigeria.
Yeah,
Two top officials right there on the international board. They should be able to pull a lot of things together.
Swing a lot of things
our way.
But that, you have to ask yourself how this reflects on what has gone down in Agadir, Morocco, this championship, where they've done well from the administrative point of view, but see what we've done to ourselves, not having enough representation.
The funding.
Funding. I know this is beyond them, but we can do better. We can really do better. You guys mentioned that we hope we learn our lessons. We don't learn lessons. This will probably happen next time out again.
All right, let's go to Washington very quickly now. Sonny has been waiting, so let's quickly tap from our friend. Always a pleasure to have Sonny Young join us, and Sonny is looking so bright tonight, and he has a lot to talk to us about. A lot, Sonny. Long time. But you're looking very fresh, you're well rested, and we're happy to have you back with us on Sports Tonight. What's been going on, Sonny?
Thank you, Toyin. It's great to be back on Sports Tonight and to be chatting with you. I know it's been a while, but it's great to be back on your show. And hello to all your many viewers all across Nigeria.
Yeah, Sonny. Let's start with that little bit of drama. Didier Drogba. What's the story about Didier Drogba falling out with the coach, refusing to play? Talk to us about that and what's going on in the MLS.
Yeah, kind of disappointing, Toyin, that Didier Drogba did not make the trip here to Washington. The Major League Soccer playoffs kicked off this week with these one-off knockout matches, and one of them will take place later Thursday night right here in Washington at RFK Stadium. DC United, the MLS club based here in Washington, will play the Montreal Impact. Drogba has had a falling out with Montreal's head coach, Mauro Biello. Sounds Italian, but he's a Canadian. He was born in Montreal. He did not include Drogba on his roster, on his squad to come here to Washington. There's also been reports that Drogba maybe has had some back problems, but there's more to it. MLS, the league, they fined Drogba earlier this week for refusing to play in Montreal's penultimate match, regular season match. He did not come here to Washington, so he will not be playing tonight. Kind of sad. I mean, one of Africa's greatest ever players clearly in the twilight of his career at 38, but I think he's still effective in MLS, Toyin. I mean, he had 10 goals this season during the regular season, 10 goals in 22 appearances. But the winner of the Montreal DC United match, they will play the New York Red Bulls in a two-leg series. Also, the other New York City club, New York City FC, they're also in the playoffs. They will play Toronto FC in the next round. Toronto FC won. Quick shout out for one of the Ghanaian players in MLS, Emmanuel Boateng. He had 2 goals on Wednesday night to help the Los Angeles Galaxy to a 3-1 playoff victory over Real Salt Lake. So these playoff series heating up in MLS. Also, the NBA season tipped off this week, Toyin, here in the United States.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise.
Highlights of note. I couldn't believe the scoreline, Toyin. Golden State, a lot of people picking them to win the NBA title now that they have Kevin Durant in the lineup. They were crushed in their opening game by the San Antonio Spurs, 129-100. I was just shaking my head when I saw the scoreline, but they didn't play any defense. They didn't play any defense in the game. Kawhi Leonard scored a career-high 35 points for the Spurs, who are without Tim Duncan this season. Tim Duncan retired in the off season. One other quick highlight with the NBA season tipping off. Want to give a shout-out for Anthony Davis of the New Orleans Pelicans. He put on an incredible performance on Wednesday night, Toyin. 50 points, 16 rebounds, 7 steals, 5 assists, and 4 block shots. It wasn't enough, though, because the Pelicans lost that game to the Denver Nuggets, 107-102. Anthony Davis, what a performance, though, for the Pelicans.
Well, that's MVP stuff from that guy. But well, let's talk a little bit of baseball now. The World Series, Game 3. What are you expecting, Sonny?
Yeah, it's been a very competitive series so far, Toyin. Game 3 will be played on Friday night in Chicago. I know baseball is not a popular sport in Africa, but it is widely followed here in the United States. This will be the first World Series game at Wrigley Field in Chicago since 1945. The World Series features 2 clubs that have not won a World Series title in a long, long time. The Cleveland Indians, their last World Series championship was in 1948. The Cubs, you have to go all the way back to 1908 for their last championship. So a lot of fans on both sides, both in Cleveland and Chicago, are really watching this series. Right now it's been very competitive. Some really great pitching performances so far, Toyin. Corey Kluber won the opening game for the Indians, and Jake Arrieta was the winning pitcher in Game 2 last night. So I think it's going to be a really close, competitive series. The World Series, the 112th World Series in Major League Baseball.
Well, Sonny, let's wrap this up with some boxing. Anthony Joshua isn't going to fight Vladimir Klitschko anymore this year, but he's going to fight all the same later this year. But the surprise is Manny Pacquiao is returning to the ring. Sonny.
Yeah, he's going to fight next week in Las Vegas against Jesse Vargas, and all reports that I'm hearing from his training camp in Los Angeles, Toyin, is Pacquiao's looked really sharp. That he's looked very energetic. He's looked good in his sparring sessions, and he seems like he's really eager to fight next week. He'll be taking on Jesse Vargas. At stake will be the WBO welterweight crown, and who knows? I mean, if Pac-Man can put on an impressive performance next week, Toyin, I think we might hear talk of a rematch against Floyd Mayweather in 2017. I don't know if the fans are all that excited about a Mayweather-Pacquiao rematch, but I also hope in 2017 we're going to see Vladimir Klitschko go up against Anthony Joshua. I thought we might see it in early December, but right now it seems like it's going to be put off until probably March or April at the earliest, Toyin.
Sonny, thank you so much for all the insights that we've received. I'm sure we'll get a lot more from you next week. Thank you, Sonny.
Great to be back on the show, Toyin, and good evening to all your many, many viewers.
Yeah, that's our man. Sonny Young brings plenty to the show from Washington. I'm sure you have also enjoyed every bit of what Sonny has been able to give us on Sports Tonight. But let me come back quickly to my panel. But let me also tell you that any moment from now, we could be taking you to Lome, Togo to hook up with Femi Adefeso. Once Femi is ready for us, we'll be able to take you to Lome, Togo and talk to him. But while we wait for that call to come through, let me get your thoughts very quickly, guys. Didier Drogba, legend of the game in Africa. Not exactly the kind of stories you want coming out from his club in the MLS.
Of course, I was surprised to hear that, because Didier Drogba is a role model for the normal African, talking about even African players. So I was disappointed to hear that one. But I'm also surprised that the club have ignored whatever had happened and then taken him for the very important game, because it's a knockout game. You go big or you go home. That's where they are right now. But it starts also betrays his age, 10 and 22. That's some decent stats for you if you are playing in MLS right now. So I think that the Montreal Impact might regret the decision not to take it, because you have Didier Drogba in your lineup. That is enough to scare the opposition. But I think they've also gone with a hardline stance on Didier Drogba. Let's hope they come through with it by progressing to the next round.
I think you have to respect your coach. That's the issue here. Didier Drogba, well, you could cut him some slack, still enjoys the game, doesn't want to sit on the bench, and would not take kindly to being put on the bench. And he was told that he wasn't going to start one of those matches. He got angry. He was told to come on in one of those matches. He didn't want to come on. And look, you have to put your foot down. There's no player that's bigger than a coach. And now the club has sent a signal. They're paying good money for Didier Drogba. But I think it's a disciplinary measure, just to show who's the boss, who's in charge here. And like Wale said, Drogba still loves the game. He's still giving a lot to the game. You remember when he left Chelsea for his after his second stint, he actually still wants to play. He still believes he still has it at that level. Although the manager at that point didn't agree with that. We'll see how all of this pans out. But as an ideal professional that I thought Drogba is, that incident shouldn't have happened, and it's a blip. It's a blip on his career.
Acted really unprofessionally.
All right, let's come back home now. Don't forget, we are still trying to reach Femi Adefeso. Once we are able to connect with him, we will let you know. But let's bring you back to Lagos and just bring you highlights of one of the games played in the Nationwide League Super 8. That's the game between Lagos club AS Racine and Enyimba Feeders. Enjoy the highlights, and then we'll be back. There's still plenty more for you on Sports Tonight. All right, I'm told that while we're waiting for that to come on, let me just quickly give you the results of day 3 from the Nationwide League. I don't know whether you guys have been able to go to the Agege Stadium to enjoy those games. The turnout has been very impressive. The quality of
football.
The quality of the football is
at any level.
Amazing.
No game has ended goalless. The goals are pouring in. The goals are coming through.
AS Racine, with the last kick of the game, almost the last kick of the game, beat Enyimba Feeders 1-0. And that knocked Enyimba Feeders out of the race. AS Racine are through to the semi-finals. Papilo, that's the club owned by Kanu Nwankwo, winning the second game of the day, 1-0 over My People. My People had a penalty late in the game, and they lost it. A lot of drama around the Nationwide League Super 8 tournament in Lagos. Semi-final fixtures, AS Racine will be taking on My People. AS Racine is coached by Victor Agali. Remember him?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Papilo will be on against FRSC from Abuja. All right, so that's what it looks like. Semi-finals of the Nationwide League. Please create time to go and watch some of these games, because some of these guys in 2-3 years' time are going to be the names you'll be hearing in the Premier League, in the Nigerian Premier League. And it's going to be good for you to be able to tell their story. I saw this guy when he came with Papilo FC, when he came with My People, when he played for AS Racine, when he played for FRSC. And you can tell their story.
And I know the scouts are already looking already.
A lot of scouts.
A lot. And even if we don't get to see them if we want to do something immediate, we get to see them in the National League, because winners also get to play in the National League. So you get to even see them at National League level, and some might even have the luck of playing in the Premier League next season.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Let's go on a break. We'll be back with more on Sports Tonight. Join us again.